Welcome to a Fireside Chat with Amazon, embracing consumer changes and your Amazon advertising strategy. We're extremely excited to have everyone here today. My name is Mike Sheshik. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer of Jungle Scout, and we're here today with Jungle Scout guests as well as Amazon guests, and are super excited to welcome everyone to this session today. As I mentioned, I'm the Chief Marketing Officer of Jungle Scout, which is a software platform designed to help people sell better on Amazon. I have had a variety of different roles throughout my career, including relatively large companies such as Amazon, Dell, and Groupon. And with that, I would like to introduce Connor Foley, who is with us today.
Yeah, hi there. Thanks, Mike. So Connor Foley, former co-founder and CEO of Downstream, an Amazon advertising solution that was acquired by Jungle Scout in March of this year. Like Mike, a former Amazonian myself, and thrilled to be here.
And we also have Deanna Finster with us today, who is the head of Worldwide Strategic Technology Partner Development for Amazon. Deanna?
Hi everyone, thanks Mike so much for having me here today. Yeah, as Mike shared, I look after partner development for our strategic solution providers like Jungle Scout, meaning I focus all my time working with our partners. And I've previously worked at some other great companies like Microsoft and Disney. So really excited to be here today.
For the first part of this video, I'm going to introduce you to some macro trends in the US e-commerce landscape, so you can think about how customer behavior can influence your advertising strategies. Afterwards, we'll turn back to Connor and Deanna for Q&A about advertising strategies and how to improve them. So let's get into it. Where does this data come from? Jungle Scout surveys 1,000 US consumers on a quarterly basis to understand consumer shopping behavior and how it is ever evolving. This data is from Jungle Scout's Q2 of 2021 Consumer Trends Report. So what did we learn? What are those key insights from the Consumer Trends Report? The first is that consumers are adjusting priorities in a post-pandemic life. Their consumers are always changing, and in the post-pandemic life, they're focusing more on their family, on their physical and mental health, their finances, and their friends. Also, when you look at priorities that have increased the most since the start of 2021, those activities include spending time outside and education and travel. And we've definitely seen a huge uptick in travel as the pandemic has lessened. Also, consumers are experiencing life events which are affecting what they buy. Within the past year, about 18% of consumers adopted or bought new pets, which has really big implications for the pet category. 13% of people changed jobs, and 12% moved homes, including many new home purchases, which of course will affect the home and garden categories. And also, 6% of people got engaged or married, so if you're one of those people, congratulations. So how have consumers changed in their comfort activities over time? At various points, people have had different comfort levels related to activities due to the coronavirus pandemic. At this point, the majority of consumers have been increasingly comfortable shopping in a grocery store or running errands or outdoor activities. But it's really not until now, in the second half of 2021, that most consumers say that they're comfortable with activities around large numbers of people, like going to the movies or a concert or staying in a hotel, or even attending a wedding. But about half of respondents, about 48%, still say they're not comfortable enough to get on an airplane quite yet. So there's a little bit of trepidation there. So with those changes in comfort levels, naturally consumers' activities are changing. Some quarantine habits are worth keeping, while others are getting a little bit less attention. The in-home activities consumers expect will decrease the most are watching TV or movies, cleaning, and sleeping. People are ready to get more active. But people also responded that they're planning to keep focusing on eating healthy, starting or running a business, and do-it-yourself projects around the house. And so a lot of healthy activities will continue. Takeaway number 2, consumer online shopping expectations are changing. So 76% of consumers said that their online spending stayed the same or increased last quarter. And a huge 39% of respondents said their online spending increased versus last year. So online spending is certainly continuing its meteoric rise. Only 24% of respondents said that their spending decreased. And what do customers expect? When people are shopping online, they expect free shipping. 80% of consumers expect free shipping when ordering a certain dollar amount of items. And frankly, a lot of people are expecting free shipping regardless of the dollar value. And 66% of people expect free shipping on all orders. But it can't just be free. It also has to be fast. 27% of consumers expect to receive something that they purchased online either the same day or within the next day. And 70% of folks said they would be upset if something didn't arrive on time. And about half of respondents are actually willing to pay a little bit more if they know that they can get free and fast shipping. So a lot of people ask, how do ratings and reviews affect online purchases? More than anything else, consumers say they're influenced by products with the best ratings and reviews when shopping online. People trust ratings and reviews. 70% of consumers say that it is a big deal. And what's also interesting is more consumers are willing to leave a review for an excellent product than for an unsatisfactory product. And so it's not just the bad products or the happy customers that leave reviews. A lot of happy customers leave reviews as well. Takeaway number 3, consumers look for brands online more than ever. And so although consumers are influenced by certain brand websites, they often go to Amazon first to see if they're able to get that product directly on Amazon. 31% of consumers say they always look for certain brands when shopping online. But 69% of customers say when they need to purchase a product from a specific brand, they look to see if they can get it first on Amazon. And in fact, 74% of consumers say they begin their search for any product online on Amazon. So a very, very large percentage. In addition to searching on Amazon, the number of consumers starting their search through a search engine continues to decline, while those beginning on social media sites has increased. Searching on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram have all increased, as well as a rising new entry from TikTok that is starting to get more traffic. Takeaway number 4, Amazon spending is rising among many consumers. So where are customers spending their money on Amazon and how has that shifted over time? The biggest increases in early 2021 are for categories like garden and outdoor, exercise and fitness supplies, beauty and personal care, and home and kitchen. Those categories, as people become more active, will become more important in their daily lives. And you have to wonder, how much are people willing to spend, on a certain product online? Well, consumers are getting more comfortable spending larger amounts of money for a specific product on Amazon. In fact, 58% of consumers would spend over $100 on a product on Amazon, which is up 10% from Q1. So people are gaining more and more trust. There are about 18% of folks who would actually spend over $500, on a product online. So spending higher amounts of money on a product on Amazon indicates that consumers are trusting the site for more and bigger purchases. This gives product categories such as furniture, electronics, and higher-end clothing and fashion accessories greater potential for success. And here's one final data point before we move to the advertising Q&A. Consumers are frequent shoppers. 52% of consumers are making purchases on Amazon at least weekly, including about 17% who buy on Amazon every single day. So the marketplace is still a huge opportunity for repeat purchases. So I mentioned a whole lot of statistics. Hopefully that it gives you some insights into trends that are going on in the consumer landscape right now. If you're interested in seeing the data or selling on Amazon, check out Jungle Scout at junglescout.com. And we have tons of learning materials to help you start your Amazon journey selling. And with that, I will go ahead and bring back Connor and Deanna so we can talk a little bit more about Amazon advertising. So Connor, the first question is for you. We've seen that shoppers are adjusting their priorities post-pandemic. And what does this say about the opportunity for brands who are selling on Amazon to reach those audiences?
Yeah, so the pandemic drove just massive shifts in consumer behavior, mix shifting a huge volume of in-store purchasing behavior online for household staples and major CPG categories. And while consumers are now beginning to shift their shopping patterns back to more traditional e-commerce categories, the e-commerce growth we saw for staples and in CPG categories is likely here to stay and really represents a huge opportunity for savvy brands and sellers to reach them at the digital point of sale.
Interesting. And Deanna, how are you at Amazon Advertising thinking about the challenge that some brands may face trying to build on the performance that they had over the past 12 months?
Yeah, Amazon Advertising provides a number of products that can help advertisers reach these new audiences and then help them build the brand loyalty across the consumer customer journey. In the long term, our ad products can help advertisers to sustain and further the growth they've seen in 2020, 2021, and beyond. It's really important to focus on reaching these new audiences and nurturing them over longer periods of time. And products like Amazon DSP and sponsored display can really help advertisers and brands reach new audiences at the awareness and consideration stages. Using pre-built Amazon audiences based on Amazon shopping and streaming signals, advertisers can reach these new customers both in and out of the aisle. Brands can also use many of our free brand shopping products to create custom stores, use images to build a rich experience, and posts to complete the brand story on Amazon. There's also sponsor brands, which includes the new sponsor brands video beta, which can help complement their brand building strategy. But our advertising solutions aren't just confined to the stores. We offer different ways to enable brands across multiple different touch points in our stores, on our boxes, on our devices, within entertainment and video content, and with custom integrations where we believe we can create a valuable end-to-end user experience. We've built and continue to evolve a full funnel offering that helps bring customers closer to their brands and helps make it simple for brands to tell a cohesive story across the customer experiences. And then we also have IMDb TV, Twitch, and audio, which are all valuable elements of this full funnel strategy.
Super interesting. And so, Deanna, as a follow-up to that, we've also seen the sophistication of advertising tools, based on, API solutions, really start to evolve. And so there's an ongoing conversation about, whether you should lean more towards, API or automated solutions or manual solutions. How do you see the right balance between human intervention and letting the technology take the lead?
Yeah, it's a great question. And honestly, I think the optimal balance between manual work and optimizations and full automation is really different for each advertiser. It's nuanced for each company as they sort of figure out how to create their effective campaigns at scale. It's really one of the main reasons why we built the Amazon Advertising API and why you get to work with partners like yourselves at Jungle Scout. It's a complement to a singular console approach. We want to give advertisers the ability to find the right balance for themselves. We have advertisers who use the APIs themselves for faster access to reporting, and they want to make all the optimizations manually. We also have others who believe in using machine learning to automate all of their optimization changes. Some areas are worth evaluating to determine the right approach for you include how much analytical history do you have and know about your audiences when they purchase and why. These can all be inputs into a machine learning algorithm, or they can be manual overrides. Also thinking about how many campaigns do you run? How different are they from each other? And most importantly, how many analytical and testing-minded people do you have available to make these changes regularly? My personal view is that it requires a balance. Sometimes people just have theories that they can be tested faster than an algorithm. Sometimes you just need to let the tech optimize and run with it. There are also some very basic automation that can help to significantly reduce the number of monotonous tasks that your team spends on. We've constantly worked to improve our API integrations. For example, this year we've been introducing new API integrations with the Amazon DSP. We're also introducing new metrics that'll help advertisers and partners better understand campaign effectiveness and build their strategies. For example, new to brand metrics provide a look at the success of campaigns focused on reaching new audiences at the consideration and awareness stages, and provide a complement to traditional conversion-based metrics like ROAS and ACOS. If you see the opportunity and availability of the insights and metrics on the Amazon Advertising API, and you don't have the technical resources for direct integration, there are a robust number of partners like Jungle Scout that advertisers can access.
Interesting. It's a fascinating change in the advertising industry over the past few years. And so, Connor, similar question to you. When you balance things like qualitative feedback and qualitative research, versus a data-driven advertising approach, how do you actually approach that to determine what the right strategy is?
Yeah, good question. So, first of all, every advertiser should approach their ad strategy with very, very clear business objectives. And it's unlikely that a purely data-driven approach is going to allow them to accomplish those objectives. Take ROAS, for example. If we were to just purely focus on ROAS as the North Star, you're always going to have the highest ROAS from your branded terms as opposed to your non-branded terms. However, your branded terms are likely to be less incremental to your business, meaning they're going to be driving less new customers because, of course, they're searching for your products directly. Or, for example, if you're just focusing on click-through rate, you are likely going to end up focusing your ad dollars on lower priced products because ultimately they're going to get more clicks. So it's really important to first gather the context and make observations and understand the competitive landscape in a given category, consumer behavior, and then really adjust your tactics accordingly so that you're focused on accomplishing those business objectives. So it's really less a matter of balancing qualitative and quantitative in your advertising strategy, but more so that both are critical to accomplishing a brand's business objectives and ultimately just really having a process that includes both.
Okay, interesting. So Deanna, along that line, I know that people are always, or brands are always attempting to find better ways of really targeting the right customer set. So any insights from Amazon? Clearly we have keyword research and the ability to do targeting based on that. What other insights do you have in order to get in front of the right brands and customers?
Yeah, it's a great question and something we hear a ton from partners and advertisers. When you're looking to communicate the full breadth of a brand's offerings and meet the shopper on their shopping journey, you really need the right audience tools. Two that I call out is Amazon DSP and Sponsored Display. They provide robust audience capabilities in the form of Amazon Audiences, which are pre-built audiences. They're built based first on first-party shopping and streaming signals from Amazon and Amazon-owned and operated spaces like Twitch. Amazon Audiences also include audience segments grouped on a number of different factors such as interests, lifestyle, and in-market, to name a few. And with Amazon Audiences, advertisers can get out of the aisle and reach new audiences who are likely to be interested in their product offerings. For example, if I'm selling a video game, I could select a gamer lifestyle audience from Amazon Audiences for my campaign. These advertising products also go hand in hand with a strong brand presence on Amazon. Amazon's tools for branding include, for example, custom content on brand pages, blogs, and A+ content on product detail pages. By optimizing your brand and product presence on Amazon, advertisers and partners can provide more informative and engaging experience to shoppers.
Okay, Connor, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, so Amazon offers many different powerful targeting capabilities beyond just keywords. By ASIN or category that really allows brands to expand their reach out of aisle and find shoppers that are in market for contextually relevant products, but not necessarily searching for relevant keywords. For example, someone shopping for an electric toothbrush, you can use Sponsored Display to target them with your whitening mouthwash. And this is an opportunity to drive basket expansion by serving them a contextually relevant product and driving a highly incremental sale.
Interesting. Okay. So Deanna, you mentioned Amazon Audiences. Is there a way that a brand could approach an audience, specifically targeting repeat purchases like consumables, like Connor just mentioned?
Yeah, the best way for advertisers and partners to continue to nurture and delight repeat customers is really to focus on a clear and compelling brand narrative. Our brand advertising shopping experience includes a number of robust and free tools. Some of, Connor, I've been talking about here for brands to use to tell their brand story with customers. Brands, honestly, that spend the time to optimize their store on Amazon with engaging images and content or create posts can reach customers with a compelling brand story that spans their product portfolio. Sponsored brands, including our video beta and store spotlight, give brands the opportunity to engage customers through their shopping journey. Sponsor brands can also help with brand discovery and test and learn, and are great methods to help increase both the awareness and intent to purchase. Since each shopping journey is really unique, it also makes sense for brands to take diverse approaches to engage customers. With Amazon audiences, as we've talked about for DSP and now for sponsored display, advertisers can help engage these new customers as well as help the existing and potential customers learn about their brand. And then finally, advertisers can select these audiences in a way that's similar to how they would describe their core customers. For example, using audiences like outdoor enthusiasts or environmentally conscious shoppers, these self-service advertisers can now go directly connect the link with the language they've used in their overall brand marketing strategy to sponsored display.
Okay, thank you. Connor, anything else to target repeat buyers?
Yeah, I would encourage advertisers to leverage Amazon's promotional tools alongside their advertising capabilities. For example, using vendor-powered coupons or other promotions to promote subscribe and save offers so that you have the opportunity to sell your products to those customers and then retain them and drive longer lifetime value through a subscription offer.
Okay. Well, Connor, continuing on, we've seen obviously e-commerce continues to grow. And as we looked at the consumer trends report from Jungle Scout and the data that shows that e-commerce continues to its march, we're curious, how do you think that affects brands and their strategy to getting products to market?
Yeah, so this represents really a unique opportunity for brands to introduce themselves to new customers and establish new brand relationships. E-commerce platforms like Amazon offer digital shelf space that you really won't find in any store. So emerging brands have a unique opportunity to be in a shopper's consideration set for the first time. The risks are really for those share leaders who have, long established brick and mortar relationships with consumers and pay for shelf slotting to ensure that they are always front and center. E-commerce and Amazon really levels the playing field by opening up shelf space to all advertisers, that really prime shelf space, and allowing these advertisers via second price auction to get in front of consumers.
Great, thank you. Similar to that, Deanna, you mentioned full funnel advertising strategy earlier. So can you describe a little bit more about what you meant with full funnel as it relates to an expanding e-commerce space?
Yeah. It honestly means something different to each advertiser and the product that they sell. So for example, like selling deodorant, you have a short window of opportunity as consumers tend to decide what to buy when they're running low. It's usually not an intensive decision-making process, at least not for myself, that takes place over a short window of time. Top of funnel is sort of brand name recognition and reinforcing brand loyalty, which is going to be important to sustain audiences beyond a shopping boom. But the bottom of the funnel has a lot of specificities based on whether the consumer wants to try something new, whether they're looking for a certain scent or looking to switch to an organic product or looking for a good multi-pack deal. It's a really different customer journey than, let's say, buying a cordless vacuum cleaner. Speaking from experience, I did way too much research on buying that recently. And we want to provide advertisers with as many options to engage with shoppers in ways that match their own buying process. Flexibility is really key to all of this because flexibility, customization, and optimization become even more necessary when building ad capabilities for Amazon advertising. And then increasing brand awareness helps down the line as customers make their final decisions. Sponsor brands may be one of those initial engagements to inform shoppers about your brand, product families, and then sponsored display helps stay top of mind with ads running on and off Amazon. And then sponsored products gets more detailed with the matching specific shopping queries to the right products. That's sort of the high level view and how the products can help across that full funnel.
Okay, thank you. Deanna mentioned brand strategy and brand loyalty several times. So Connor, as you look at the expanding e-commerce space, there obviously are opportunities to create new brands and get in front of new customers, as you mentioned. How exactly do you create a new brand online?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, building a brand means so much more than just driving the individual transactions on an e-commerce platform. It's really about building the brand equity that allows you to charge a premium price, increase conversions, enjoy brand affinity, and increase the customer lifetime value, in addition to a whole host of other benefits. Accomplishing this really requires that you provide a customer experience that is consistent and memorable. And some of that is certainly done with that individual sale, the packaging, the product, etc. But the best brands shape their brand experience through consistent messaging that reinforces the brand attributes and how you want that consumer to think about your brand and your products. Amazon offers that ability to target in-market customers, to drive consideration, but also to emphasize that brand story post-purchase and to begin building a brand identity with your customers. This process is really what is meant by full funnel marketing. Too often with e-commerce and performance advertising in general, we get very focused on the transactional performance metrics such as ROAS or ACoS, for example. But brand building investments, the truth is that building a valuable brand is not easy or cheap. But it's one of the most defensible and valuable moats that you can build into your business. So if you strive to actually build a brand versus just drive transactions, you'll need to find ways to shape and reinforce your brand with customers. And Amazon offers a host of powerful advertising tools to do just that.
Okay. Deanna, what are your thoughts on that? How do you build a brand on Amazon?
Yeah, and I just echo what Connor just said. I think first, building a solid brand is essential and will greatly help advertisers reach the right audiences with products and message that'll delight their customers. Both Amazon's free brand building tools and advertising products like sponsored brands, sponsored display, and Amazon DSP can help to support and amplify this message to customers across the stages of the shopping journey. Brands want to tell their story in a way that engages existing customers and reaches out to new customers and establishes their brand story. Our whole business centers on shopping, product discovery, and customer satisfaction. And as you know, Amazon is always focused on selection, pricing, and experience. And each new advertising capability we offer focuses on the benefits to the customers through their shopping experience, from price to discovery to selection. Amazon advertising products can help brands of all sizes, as Connor was mentioning, the new ones, the established ones, from multinational household name brands to niche brands who are emerging and challenger brands. We work closely with advertisers and partners of all sizes, including Jungle Scout, to ensure that we're creating a simple and efficient and positive shopping experience for customers.
Thanks, Deanna. Appreciate it. And I want to say thank you for your time today. It's great, having both you and Connor here in this session today. There's a ton of valuable information that has been brought up. Is there any, one takeaway that you'd like to make sure that our audience is able to understand?
Yeah, firstly, thank you so much for having us today. I really appreciate it. And I just want to emphasize that success starts by identifying and establishing a meaningful experience that really resonates with audiences. Before considering advertising, make sure to solidify the value you bring to your audience. Second, look as you look to scale your engagement with audiences. Amazon advertising includes flexible number of ad products, which we've talked about today, and can help you reach both existing and new audiences at all stages of the shopping journey. Partners such as Jungle Scout can be invaluable to helping you scale your efforts on Amazon advertising, but can also help automate marketing campaigns and provide meaningful insights. Finally, now is the time to diversify campaign strategies so they aren't just product or conversion focused, but begin to look at lifetime value, brand building, and engaging with your audiences.
Awesome. Connor, any final thoughts from you?
Yeah, so, over the past 18 months, consumer behavior has really made dramatic and exciting changes. And this has opened so many new opportunities to build brands online, while at the same time negating so many of the traditional brick and mortar brand investments. So with that, share leaders really need to rethink their brand experiences and how they're investing their marketing dollars, both brick and mortar and online. And for those shared challengers and upstart brands, they need to be sure that they recognize the opportunity that is here before them, but then also understand how the established brands think, how to build a brand online, and seek opportunities to capitalize on that.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Connor and Deanna, again for joining us today, and thank you for watching.